You. Have you ever wondered what the world's very first car was like? Forget the sleek, super-fast machines we see today. Let's take a journey back in time to the very beginning, to a world of steam, gears, and groundbreaking invention. This is the story of the first real automobile. Our story begins in 1769, not with gasoline, but with steam. A French inventor named Nicolas Joseph Cugnot created a massive, three-wheeled vehicle powered by a steam boiler. It was called the Fardia Arveva, which translates to steam tray. This wasn't a car for driving. It was designed for the French army to haul heavy artillery. Imagine this beast rumbling down cobblestone streets. It was huge, weighing about 2.5 tons, and its big copper boiler hung right out in front, looking like a giant pot. To get it moving, you had to light a fire under the boiler to heat the water and create steam. This steam then pushed pistons, which turned the front wheel. It was a marvel of engineering for its time, but it wasn't exactly practical. The vehicle could only travel at a snail's pace, around 2 miles per hour, which is about as fast as a person walking slowly. Plus, it had to stop every 15 minutes or so to build up more steam. It was heavy, slow, and incredibly difficult to steer. And this difficulty in steering led to what many consider the world's first ever car accident. CO. In 1771, during a demonstration, Cugnot's second improved vehicle reportedly went out of control and crashed into a brick wall. Nobody was hurt, but it's a fascinating, if clumsy, start to the history of traffic accidents. While Cugnot's steam tray was a technological dead end at the time, it proved a crucial concept. A self-propelled vehicle was possible. It planted a seed that would take over a century to fully blossom. Now, let's fast forward about 100 years. The 19th century was buzzing with innovation. Steam power was king, driving trains and factories, but it was too bulky and inefficient for a personal vehicle. Inventors across Europe were tinkering with a new idea: the internal combustion engine. This was the real game changer. Instead of an external fire heating a boiler, the combustion, the little explosion that creates power, happened inside the engine itself. The engines ran on all sorts of things, from coal gas to hydrogen. This brings us to the man widely credited with inventing the first true automobile: Carl Benz. In 1886, in Mannheim, Germany, Carl Benz patented his Benz patent Motorwagen. This wasn't just a modified cart with an engine slapped on. It was the first vehicle designed from the ground up to be a cohesive, self-propelled machine. It was a complete integration of chassis and engine. So, what did this first car look like? It was a delicate, three-wheeled vehicle. It had a small, single-cylinder, four-stroke engine mounted at the rear. This engine produced less than 1 horsepower. To put that in perspective, a modern lawnmower has more power. The engine was cooled by water, but not with a radiator like today's cars. Instead, water would heat up and evaporate, and you'd have to constantly top it off. Starting, it was a chore. There was no key or starter button. You had to manually turn a large horizontal flywheel to get the engine chugging to life. It had simple tiller steering, like a boat, instead of a steering wheel. It had only 1 gear and no reverse. If you needed to go backward, you had to get out and push. Top speed: a thrilling 10 miles per hour, but it probably felt incredibly fast on the bumpy roads of the 1880s. Verd. An invention is nothing without a visionary who sees its potential. And in this story, that visionary was Carl Benz's wife, Bertha Benz. While Carl was a brilliant engineer, he was also cautious, hesitant to showcase his invention to the public. He worried it wasn't perfect yet. Bertha, however, was a marketing genius and a true pioneer. In August of 1888, without telling her husband, she decided to prove the car's viability. She and her 2 teenage sons, Eugene and Richard, took to Patent Motorwagen on the world's first long-distance road trip. Their journey was from Mannheim to Pforzheim, her hometown, a distance of about 66 miles. This was an epic undertaking. There were no gas stations, no repair shops, and no paved roads. Their journey was filled with challenges that Bertha solved with incredible ingenuity. When the fuel line got clogged, she cleaned it with her hat pin. When a wire shorted out, she used her garter as insulation. The brakes, which were simple leather-covered wooden blocks, started to wear out. So, she stopped at a cobbler's shop and had him nail new leather strips onto them, effectively inventing the first brake linings. But what about fuel? The car ran on a petroleum solvent called Ligrone, which at the time was only sold in pharmacies as a cleaning agent. So, Bertha had to stop at a pharmacy in the town of Wieslak to buy fuel. This pharmacy still exists today and proudly calls itself the first gas station in the world. This is a great point to pause for a moment. If you're enjoying this trip back in time and learning about the birth of the automobile, please take a second to hit that like button, drop a comment below with your thoughts, and definitely subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so you and team miss our next adventure into history. Your support helps us create more content just like this. Okay, back to Bertha. After a long and eventful journey, she and her sons arrived in Pforzheim, sending a telegram to Karl to let him know they had made it. Her trip was a massive success. It wasn't just a family visit. It was a brilliant publicity stunt. It generated huge media attention and proved to a skeptical world that the automobile was not just a toy for inventors, but a practical and reliable means of transportation. It silenced the critics and gave Karl the confidence he needed. Bertha Benz wasn't just the first person to take a road trip. She was the quality tester, the mechanic, and the marketing manager, all in one. So, while Kugnitz-Steendray was technically the first self-propelled land vehicle, it's Karl Benz's patent motorwagen that rightfully holds the title of the first true automobile. It was the first vehicle designed as an integrated system with an internal combustion engine. NT. Thanks to Bertha's daring journey, it was the first one to prove its real-world potential. From that single-cylinder, less than 1 horsepower machine, an entire industry was born. The innovations came thick and fast. Just a few years later, companies like Daimler, Panhard, Etlevesa, and Peugeot were also building cars. Steering wheels replaced tillers, pneumatic rubber tires replaced solid ones, and engines became more powerful and reliable. The early 20th century saw the arrival of Henry Ford's Model T, which brought the automobile to the masses and transformed society forever. It's incredible to think that every car on the road today, from a simple family sedan to the most advanced electric vehicle, can trace its lineage back to that fragile-looking three-wheeled creation from 1886. It all started with the vision of one brilliant engineer and the incredible courage and foresight of his wife, The next time you get in your car and turn the key, or push the start button, take a moment to remember the clunky steam-powered Vardia, the delicate patent motorwagon, and the amazing Bertha Benz, cleaning a fuel line with her hat pin on the side of a dusty German road. That is where it all began. Thank you for watching.